As US-Iran talks cautiously move forward, Benjamin Netanyahu is signaling that Israel is still prepared to launch strikes, loudly flagging its own red lines on Iranian missiles in advance of any deal. Israeli officials have reportedly warned Washington that Iran's expanding ballistic missile arsenal now poses what they consider an existential threat to the Jewish state. Sources told Israeli media that Israel is ready to act unilaterally, without US participation, if it believes Iran has crossed those predefined missile red lines. One Israeli official told the Jerusalem Post that Tel Aviv has told the Americans directly, if Iran crosses the ballistic missile red line, Israel will strike alone if it must. At the same time, officials acknowledge Iran has not yet fully crossed that line, but argue that Tehran is steadily moving closer to it with each new production step. This hard message was reportedly delivered through a series of high-level security exchanges between Israeli, American, and allied defense chiefs. Israel has also signaled that it will not allow Iran to restore or rebuild strategic missile capabilities at scale after past strikes and sabotage. Israeli officials claim that Tel Aviv is tracking parts of Iran's missile production network in near real time, using a mix of satellites, cyber, and human intelligence. One source even described the current moment as a historic opportunity to hit the core of Iran's missile infrastructure before it fully recovers. According to reports, Israeli planners have already shared draft plans with Washington for potential strikes on Iranian missile manufacturing and production sites. Inside Israel, some officials fear Donald Trump may settle for very narrow, limited strikes on a handful of Iranian missile sites. They worry that a limited operation, similar to past pinprick strikes on the Houthis, could leave Iran's core missile capabilities largely intact and recoverable. Israeli officials argue that partial blows could end up provoking Tehran into retaliation without truly eliminating the underlying missile threat they face. Netanyahu is scheduled to meet Donald Trump in Washington on the 11th of February, where he plans to press his conditions on how any Iran deal should be shaped. On the 7th of February, the Israeli Prime Minister's office stated that any agreement must explicitly include limits on Iran's ballistic missiles and its regional axis of allied militias. Netanyahu insists that Iran's support for proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis must be curbed at the same time as its missile program, not treated as a separate issue. Iran, for its part, counters that the talks are strictly limited to its nuclear program and will not extend to its rockets or its network of regional allies. Despite the tension, the US and Iran held indirect talks in Oman on the 6th of February, their first structured contact since the June 2025 conflict. Trump has publicly described the initial round as very good, promising additional sessions after both sides consult their capitals.
We likewise had very good talks on Iran. Iran looks like it wants to make a deal very badly. We have to see what that deal is. But I think Iran looks like they want to make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided maybe not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is. It'll be different than last time.
Even as he praises the talks, Trump boasts that a big fleet of US warships will be sailing toward Iran very soon, keeping up military pressure. Iran has signaled it is willing to accept tighter monitoring and inspections to prove that its nuclear activities remain peaceful and not weaponized. In return, Tehran wants significant US sanctions relief, while insisting it will keep some level of uranium enrichment on the table as a sovereign right. Washington and its key allies argue that continued enrichment at high levels still offers Iran a potential pathway to a nuclear weapon in the future. For now, both the US and Iran have agreed in principle to keep talking, once each side has digested the first round and recalibrated its stance in their respective capitals.